Stop apologizing for the skin that carried you through 60 years of survival. Your aging body isn't a failing instrument. It is a sacred partner, a loyal, battle-tested companion that has shown up for you through every season of your life without ever asking for permission to do so. And if your current relationship lacks deep physical reverence for what it has carried, you are settling for far less than you deserve. Because somewhere between 40 and 60, many women learn to disappear inside their own skin, to apologize for it, to undress in the dark, to angle themselves away from mirrors, to qualify their physical existence with small, constant apologies. Sorry about the scar, sorry about the weight, sorry about the softness, sorry about the years. Those apologies don't arrive from nowhere. They are taught. They are absorbed from a culture that decided a woman's body only earns admiration at a particular window of youth and then becomes something to manage, to minimize, to endure. This is about something different. This is about demanding what your body has actually earned. The cost of the apology. Let us start with what the apology actually costs you, not in theory, but in the specific, granular texture of what it does to your body and your intimacy when you arrive in a room apologizing for the fact that you exist inside aging skin. The mental load of managing that apology is extraordinary. Before you have even allowed yourself to be seen, you are conducting a rapid internal audit. The lighting, the angle, the placement of fabric. You are preemptively narrating your body to a partner in language of failure. The stomach, the upper arms, the places where gravity has pulled things from where they once were. The scars that mapped a surgery, a pregnancy, a decade of physical living. This audit happens before intimacy begins, which means you arrive at the threshold of connection already having spent enormous energy on a conversation that was never asked for and that serves no one. The insidious thing about body shame at 60 is that it disguises itself as practicality, as realism, as a reasonable response to having a 60-year-old body in a world that prefers 25. You have been living inside this story so long it no longer feels like a story, it feels like fact. But here is the thing about a 60-year-old body. Every line on it is a record. The softening is not failure. It is evidence. It is what 60 years of being alive looks like from the outside. And it is the same texture as courage, as endurance, as having stayed in the room when everything in you wanted to leave. The apology is not an accurate description of your body. It is a capitulation to someone else's criteria. And you are the one paying the price in intimacy withheld, in presence denied, in the particular loneliness of being physically beside someone while psychologically somewhere else entirely, managing the distance between your actual body and the body you believe you should have brought into the room. The sacred partner shift. Here is the reframe that changes everything. And it is not a small shift. It is a complete rotation of how you understand the relationship between your body and yourself. Your body is not a vehicle you are driving or a machine that has started to show its age. Your body is you. It is the physical expression of everything you have survived and built and lost and chosen. Every chapter of your life has been written in it. And when you treat it as a source of apology, you are not apologizing to a romantic partner. You are apologizing for your own history. The shift is from body as instrument to body as partner. An instrument fails when it can no longer perform its original function. A partner adapts. A partner has a history with you. A partner has shown up across 6 decades of labor and loss and love and has not abandoned you once. That is not a relationship that warrants apology. That is a relationship that warrants reverence. Women who have made this shift describe a specific change in how they move through intimate spaces, not because their bodies changed, but because they stopped treating their bodies as the problem. They stopped the preemptive audit. They arrived in the room as themselves. And this matters before a partner ever enters the equation. Because the reverence a partner is capable of showing your body is proportional, in many cases, to the reverence you have already established as the baseline. If you apologize first, you invite the apology to be accepted. If you arrive as someone whose body is a fact rather than a confession, you set an entirely different tone. Self-reverence is not arrogance. It is not pretending you love every line. It is simply declining to hate them. It is the decision to be in your body without conducting a simultaneous prosecution of it. Redefining physical reverence. Now let us talk about what you have the right to expect from another person. Consent is the floor, not the ceiling. Consent is the minimum condition for intimacy. It is not the thing that makes intimacy beautiful. What makes intimacy at 60 beautiful is something considerably rarer, and it is worth naming precisely because so many women have been taught to not expect it. Active physical reverence, not tolerance, not polite accommodation, not the gracious acceptance of a body that has seen better days. Reverence. A partner who looks at the particular way your skin has changed and registers it as part of your beauty rather than despite it. A partner whose physical presence communicates that your body in its current form is exactly what is desired, not what was once desired, not what is being generously accepted, but what is actually wanted. There is a particular toxicity in the middle ground, in the partner who is fine with your body, who does not comment, who is not cruel. This indifference masquerades as acceptance, but it is quietly corrosive. In an intimate relationship, indifference to your physical form is a slow withdrawal from connection. It communicates, without ever saying anything, that your body is being tolerated rather than desired. That is not what you are here for. The standard you are entitled to is a partner who sees your 60-year-old body and finds it genuinely beautiful because they understand what beauty actually is when it is not filtered through a 25-year-old's criteria. Your history is part of your current form. A partner who is worthy of that history will see it as part of what makes you remarkable, not as something to look past. The new language of intimacy. Physical intimacy at 60 has a different vocabulary than it did at 30. And that vocabulary is more interesting, more honest, more tuned to what actually creates connection rather than what creates performance. The practical realities are real. Bodies change. There are things that may require adjustment positions that need modifying, timing that benefits from more patience, physical limitations that are part of the conversation now. This is not a disappointment. This is a refinement. The women who navigate this most gracefully communicate with precision and without embarrassment, not tolerating discomfort in silence because naming it feels like a concession, but saying clearly, this is what feels good, this is what I need, this is the pace that works for this body right now. That directness is an act of intimacy, not an interruption of it. A partner who is worth your body's trust receives this communication as a gift to the privilege of knowing what you actually need. The alternative performing through discomfort to manage someone else's experience of you is the opposite of intimacy. There is a quality of slow, intentional touch that becomes available when both partners stop performing and start paying attention. At 60, You have been inside your body long enough to know it. The question is whether you will allow yourself to be known. Choosing your mirror. The most important metric for a romantic partner, when you understand what your body has carried, is this. How do they make you feel about your physical self? Not in theory, but in the room, in the body, in the specific moments of physical closeness. Do you feel seen? Do you feel desired? Do you feel like your body is something to be celebrated? Or do you feel managed, accommodated, like something they are being good about? Many women have been in relationships so long that they have stopped noticing the baseline. The mild indifference has become ambient. The absence of active desire has been reclassified as the way things naturally go, and they have stopped asking whether it was ever supposed to be this way. It was not supposed to be this way. You do not have to settle for intimacy in which your physical self is an afterthought. You do not have to accept age-appropriate relationships that have quietly retired passion as impractical. You are entitled, in fact, you are responsible to vet the people who are given access to your body based on whether they know how to honor it. That is not a high bar. That is the correct bar, and it has always been yours to hold. Your body has carried you through 60 years. It has survived things that would have broken a lesser structure. It has held grief and pleasure and 1,000 ordinary mornings, and it has not given up on you once. That deserves to be met with something better than indifference. That deserves to be met with someone who looks at 60 years of evidence and finds it genuinely and without reservation beautiful. If this landed in a place that has been waiting for permission, share it with a woman who needs to hear it. And if you are not yet on this porch, subscribe, because this is exactly the kind of truth we tell each other here. I am Patricia, and I will see you next week.